This is episode 1 of the 2015 season of the Breaking Down Security podcast. I'm Brian Brake. I see a tweet from friend of the podcast, Kevin Johnson from Secure Ideas. He said, unhackable, ? This is a synonym to unusable, sorry. And it was to Neil Degrasse Tyson. And I went looking for the original tweet that Dr. Tyson had submitted. And he was mentioning in it that President Obama had authorized sanctions for North Korea. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that North Korea has been implicated as a theory, currently the most popular theory, of the organization that had in fact hacked Sony and, basically owned them 8 ways to Sunday. And the rest of his tweet went, the solution there, it seems to me, is to create unhackable systems, unquote. That word, unhackable, that got me, and of course got Mr. Johnson. And I replied that, basically unhackable is a marketing term, stating that, only crap software and crap technologies actually tie themselves to the unhackable moniker. It's like you go on a website and you see a logo that says this is hacker safe. Well, nothing is really hacker safe. Nothing is really unhackable. As we've been told in the mantra many times that, attackers have unlimited amount of time to gain access to a box, and there's numerous ways of doing it. So, and myself and Mr. Johnson were not the only ones to pile on to this tweet. They said that one gentleman said that we should have unbombable cities and unkillable people too, and another gentleman also said unhackable is nonsense. There's no such thing. Well, there are several thousand people who retweeted and favorited this tweet. And I have to wonder what's going through these minds of these people who favorited the tweet and also, retweet, and when you do Twitter, you retweet usually because you agree with that person, or the same thing for favoriting. And I have to wonder, from a non-technical point of view, if I was a non-technical person, what would be my thought process behind believing that there is such thing as an unhackable system? And, I don't know if Dr. Tyson was being sarcastic when he made the tweet. There's really no way of telling. He may have just said this tongue-in-cheek. We'll find out, I'm sure, eventually. But my question is, what is unhackable in this case? If we were going to play devil's advocate and go, okay, yeah, let's make an unhackable system. Well, what is unhackable to one person is unhackable, could be a different definition to somebody else. When I think unhackable, I think totally secure, like Cheyenne Mountain, Wyoming, or where NORAD is, or where the gold repositories are at Fort Knox. So, those are what I think of when I think of unhackable or totally secure systems. I mean, they have layers and layers of security. You have to get through several guards, dogs, fences, motion detectors, sharks with laser beams on their heads, or, large troops of roving, coyotes or something. I don't know, just a ton of security. And it makes the prize at the center of the security labyrinth, if you will, that much more valuable, because that they have had to put that kind of security on it. So, the idea of the unhackable system, I think, for Sony would be something that protects the information that they had, because that's really what was so damaging to Sony. They had movies that were stolen, they had emails, they had spreadsheets, they had databases, everything was dumped, My question is, of these people who are favoriting and retweeting as well, do they also think that that's possible? That there's an unhackable system? And how do we get through to people that unhackable is not a reasonable demand? Because, it's the more security that you put into safeguarding information or safeguarding systems, the more expensive it's going to be. So the more secure you're going to have, an obscene amount of money. Eventually, it's going to be almost asymptotal. So more secure equals way more money. So you have to actually find ways to not only make your system more secure, but to affect change to the risk in your environment, to significant risks in this case, and make sure that you can make the risk go away. Or I really don't like the idea of buying insurance to offset or to, mitigate damages due to things that might happen. It seems like a cop out to me. It's like they know they are giving up, so they just go ahead and, we can't fix it, so we're going to go ahead and, buy our way out of it, which I've never been a fan of. When you're creating that secure system, the unhackable system, you want to make it so the attackers have to counter the attack debt that is against them. So if you've got Fort Knox, the attackers already have a mountain of debt that they're going to have to offset themselves, either in knowledge or, finding that one weakness. So it's going to take them more time. So in this case, the debt is time. You're going to have attacks happen to you, and those people are going to have to work on the debt to get up to where they're, hitting a positive net value. And there may come a point where the attacker will find it not worth his time to attack. You keep hearing those things. You've got to be a hard target. Being a hard target means that you're not going to make yourself easy to get into. So either the attacker will try a different entry route, which, as we've seen with some companies, was through a third-party contractor, or they'll give up altogether until they can maybe come back later when they've gained additional information on you, or additional people or skills with regard to making the debt that they have to work to get into your system a lot less. So it kind of works on both ends. You have to do a risk assessment as an attacker and go, well, I could be spending 2 months trying to get into this system, and I may not find anything. Or I may want to spend 5 months because I know there's $100 million worth of information behind this firewall or this router, this load balancer, or these servers. So that's why it can't be. That's why there will never be an unhackable system. And anybody who says so is probably selling something, and they want you to buy it. So, Mr. Tyson, I honestly don't know if you'll ever listen to this, and I hope it makes sense. But I would hope in the future you choose your words a little more wisely. I know that not all of us are masters of every domain. You could probably stomp me in the astrophysics world, and I have a great admiration for you and what you do. And but yeah, I would think that I want to say leave the infosec to infosec people, but that doesn't sound very nice. So maybe you should find somebody and ask that question next time instead of putting it out on Twitter, because these things are forever. Your tweet is there forever, and people look up to you, and you are an influence on people. And much like celebrities who say, "Oh, I think I should vaccinate my kid." Well, now you've got people who are favoriting your tweet, thinking that, why can't we just make systems unhackable? So that was. I'm just trying this little thing, little audio blog. So this was. Hopefully the first of a few of these, and hope you have a great week and you listen to this, and come back next week. We will have Mr. Betcher back, and we'll be at full strength. Okay? Have a great day.